Bruce, in the second period, what were the Islanders doing that made it a little bit tough? And did you think that you didn't have your legs at that point?
No, we had our legs. We had our legs early on. I thought the first 10 minutes was our goal to make sure we came out, played well. I think going into the first time out, we had good pace. I think from that point on, probably the 10-minute mark or something, 12, we just, and any puck below the goal line was a challenge for us to break out, whether it was miscommunication, just not executing, not getting there on time. Their second guy beating our second. We just had a really tough time. And so we got hemmed in our end, and it cost us, 3 goals really today. The first 3 goals we had puck possession, just didn't execute the play. So that's where our problems were tonight. I thought our legs were fine, maybe mentally a little off. Some of that is the schedule. This is one of those ones where you come in here, teams waiting for you at the end of a road trip, 3 and 4, that you're going to have some mental lapses. But I thought we battled back to it. But that's where I thought our biggest problems were, just our first touch, second touch coming out of our end below the goal line. Even the power play goal they scored, we had it 2 or 3 times, had opportunities to execute a bump and a clear, and we couldn't do it.
Did Zaboral's upper body injury go back to the Trouba hit last game, or was that something tonight?
No, he was healthy tonight going into the game. So that's what our medical staff told me. So, I'm not sure. They just told me he wasn't coming back, upper body injury, and I haven't got any further on it.
Thank you.
Joe Haggerty, go ahead.
Obviously, there was the shorthanded goal allowed tonight, Butchie, but just in general, last few games, do you see a common thread with the power play having not come up with a goal here?
Yeah, it's a little slow. Funny part is in New York, our entries, we had their up ice pressure was, good. And the last game we had 3 point blankers on entries that we beat them up ice. Had some rushes. I think Smitty had one from the slot. Berge had two looks. Richie put him in all alone. Someone gave him a cross one timer that I think that Shesterkin made a great save. So that part of our game that broke down tonight, our entries. Sometimes when you have the 5 forward look, which tonight was going to be the way it was, Hags, no matter what, simply because we were running out of manpower in the back end. So, Johnny Moore hadn't played a lot of power plays. Zaboral was out. Grizz is out. So it's basically Charlie that's seen the lion's share of it. So, but I don't think there's enough movement either with the feet or with the puck. It's slowed down at the top there. So we'll address that this week. We'll have some practice time. We'll get it moving, see what we can do better.
Chris Ryan, go ahead.
Hey, Bruce, obviously you never like to lose a game, but you've been talking about a lot of these different deficiencies for the last couple of weeks. Is it good to kind of have the ability to point out some of those deficiencies with the type of evidence you have after tonight?
Well, you always learn from losses for sure. I'd rather win the game, especially when you battle back a game that, we knew we would need to do some things well. And, they were sitting here waiting for us. So then it's 2-2, you're on the power play. You're thinking, you might steal one. I thought in the third we were okay at the start. But I think in general, the lesson is you're seeing a little more this year that the teams are, at least in our division, what I've seen for the most part, tighter. Games are tighter. It's closer to playoff hockey. And some guys have to realize to chip in offensively, the secondary scoring, we've been through it. Some of the guys in this room have been through it, what it takes to score. You're not going to get those typically wide open games that you might get early in the season. Otherwise, at least I haven't seen it yet. and so that's the lesson to take away, that we'll be reminded. And some guys I'm not talking about Trent Frederick, this is his first go around. He's just learning. Some guys that have been here, young, old, some of the guys in between, it's hard to score and what it takes. And it requires getting inside ice. It requires the shot mentality, recovering a puck while the team's scrambling to recover. Things like that I think some of our offensive guys have not bought into yet, at least not enough of. So we'll keep harping away on it, get our goals, and go from there. So that's what I'm learning. But that's more from everything in general, not necessarily just tonight.
Jimmy Murphy.
Hey, Coach. Before the game, you and I, when I asked you a question about just the way season's going, everything you said, it's kind of hard sometimes. You think some game is going to be a low-scoring game, and that's a high-scoring game. And you referenced last night where you thought maybe that was going to be high-scoring. And then tonight you come into this, a lot of people looking at it like this is going to be a tight defensive battle. How are you handling sort of just gauging the temperature of games as you go in and trends and all that in this shortened season?
Well, we feel that we can win a 1-0 game or a 4-3, whatever's on the table in front of us. We know our identity. I think we came into the game tonight, the top defensive team, at least in goals against. I don't know how all the statistics measure up, but so we know what our bread and butter is, that, you know, we're going to limit teams, and that's what we want our identity to be. We want teams knowing that when they come to the rink at 5 o'clock, it's like, geez, it's going to be a tough one. The Bruins don't give up much. They're going to have to really work from ice, et cetera. You know, because sometimes it becomes a mental challenge before the puck drops against those type of teams. So, you know, we have that going for us, but we also recognize that you get behind. We did that in Washington. You know, we gave up some goals. We got to bear down with the puck, manage it better, and start, you know, thinking offense a little more, get your D involved. And that's sort of what evolved tonight a little bit, not maybe as much as Washington, but we got behind. They took it to us, and we didn't manage the puck in the first period. It cost us 2 goals. It cost us on their power play goal. We had a number of times to clear it, but at the end of the day, we know that we can still win some of those games. I just don't know that you want to go into the games thinking that every night, because it does catch up with, you know, playoff time when things get tighter. And as I said earlier, I think they're already a little bit, you can see teams tightening up a little bit, at least that's my feeling. So, and I do believe the Islanders can score. They got some talent over there, just like we can. Probably both teams haven't done enough of it, but at the end of the day, it's in the room. And if the game tilts that way, I think you'll see some goals. And that was sort of the trend tonight.